Hey everybody, this is Ori from AstroWeb, and I'm going to introduce to you Shopify reports, how to use them, what they look like, and some basic concepts about them. Okay, so first of all, Shopify reports in the back end are called Shopify Analytics, and there's many different types of reports. Depending on the specific plan you have, what you're paying your monthly fee for Shopify, you'll be able to get some or all of those reports. So if you see here, the light version has very limited reports. Basic has some more Shopify. And the one I'm showing in this video is the plan called Advanced Shopify, which has all of the reports. So what you'll be able to see is you'll be able to see all of them. And then based on what you actually have your plan, you may have some limitations, but I want to show you the concepts of everything. Okay, great. So let's jump in first of all. So first of all, when you go to analytics, the first page you're going to visit is dashboards. So dashboards is a very simple thing. These are quick go-to reports that you can see the quick health and concepts and data about your website, your shop. And how do you actually use them? So first of all, every single data you have here is going to be based on a time frame. So if you click here, you can look at a specific time frame. For example, I want to look at all of 2019, or I want to look at this week or today, etc. And then the second thing you can do, which you want to do, is if you scroll down, you'll be able to actually compare the time frame you selected to a previous period, either a previous period. So for example, if I did 30 days, it would take the 30 days before that, or I can do the previous year. So for example, if you see here, I have here last month. Right now we're in March, and I can compare it March 2020. I can compare it to February 2020. I can also compare it to the previous year. Let me click on that. Okay, and so basically we'll compare it from March 2020 to March 2019. Okay, and so what is the comparison? So the data is going to be typically the numbers itself, and then on the right hand side of your reports, you'll have the actual percentage if it's up or down. This is based on the comparison itself. So what do we have here? These are kind of like widgets, these are boxes. So you have total sales, these are just basic things. So you have the graph, you can see over time how that broke it down. You can see the different colors for this year and for last year. And you can see your actual sales, online sessions. These are visitors. How many visits came to your website during the time period? The customer returning rate, right? How often the customers come back. If you're not sure what they do, obviously you can ask me, but you can also hover. You can hover over these dotted lines and you can read a little bit more, right? And then you can go into it. What else do we have? We have conversion rates, how many visitors to how many people actually purchased, the average order value, total number of orders, products sold, online sessions by location, etc. So you'll be able to kind of look at this. I'm not going to go over every single thing. These are countries, these are devices, these are the actual traffic source on social, these things. So what is nice here? So first of all, in the dashboard, you can actually see all of these widgets. Now, if you want to see more detail, you can actually click on the report on most of these reports. Okay, so let's say, for example, let's find an interesting um, section right here. I'm going to go here. I really like, for example, the conversion rate. So I want to know how many people visit my website, and then what's the percentage of the visitors to the people buying. I really want to know, and I want to improve my conversion rate. So if for any of these reports, you can click on View Report. If you do that, you actually go to the report section and you're viewing the details of that report. And the same thing goes. You're going to select your time frame if you want to keep it the same, and you can actually group it by right here, day, week, hour, month, etc. So what is that grouping? What does that mean? So if you look at the chart and you look at the actual data, if I select day, you'll see 1 day, 2, 3, 4, all these bars are by day, and all the rows are by day, right? If I want to change it, let's say I want to do by week, you'll see 1, 2, 3, etc. weeks, and you'll see the same weeks here. So this is just to sort the data visually and data itself. Okay, so what can you actually do here right here? So let's look at this conversion rate. So I can see, for example, my conversion rate in the first week was 0.77, then 0.88, etc. And so I noticed, for example, that this week it's a very low. It's much below my average. This is the average row, right? This is the summary of everything. So the average conversion rate, the total sessions, add to carts, etc. So what does that mean? So sessions, these are visitors, add to cart, makes sense. Reach checkout, they didn't buy it, and then this is the purchase. Okay. So what can you do actually on all of these reports? Any report you go to, you can, first of all, you can print it. Okay, and you can see the printer and you can see all the data. That's good. You can print it, look at it. You can export it, and you can export and get a CSV. Basically, a CSV is a comma separated value file that you can open with a spreadsheet, with Excel, with Google Sheets, etc. If I click here, I'll be able to download it. Okay, that's great. And I can also save it. So the save one is a really interesting thing. So everything that we saw here, these are built-in reports. If I go here to my dashboard, if I go here to reports, these are built-in reports that come with Shopify. I didn't customize them. But if I actually want to go to report and I want to customize it, I can do a little changes. For example, change the date, change the columns, and I can actually view it later. So I can save it for later access. If I want a very specific report, I can do that. So let's show you an example. I'm going to click here, view report. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to change this report, but I'm going to keep this report as is, and I'm going to save this as a different thing. Okay. So I'm going to go here first of all, and I want to add columns, right? I can view my columns. I can view what other data can I get as columns here. So for example, let's say I want to view the data based on, let's see here, the browser type. Okay. So if I click here, it's going to add another column, and I can add as many as I want right here, excuse me. So I added. So if you remember here before, I was on group by day. And now, obviously, instead of having one day at a time, it actually changed my dates to more because I have every day I have many different browsers. So you can see how the data goes. And now I can start to figure out, let me go here and change instead of day, I want to change to month. So I have not too many rows. I don't want like thousands of rows, right? So now I can see for the entire month of March, let's sort it out. I'm going to click here. I'm going to sort by highest to lowest, or I can sort by lowest to highest, right? You can do that. And I can see my highest conversion rate was from IE, Internet Explorer, then Safari, then Edge, then Firefox, etc. So I can start looking at the data, figuring out the good sides, the bad sides. What can I improve and what can I double down on, right? Now let's resort it back by sessions because I typically like to look at the ones that have a lot of traffic and then evaluate them. Okay, so what else can I do for columns? I can add more columns based on sessions, based on the visits. If someone came, the bounce rate would be how many people entered the website and immediately left. They didn't visit any other pages. Okay, you can see the bounce rate. Um, Page views, how many pages they visit, how many visitors. So I'm not going to go over all of these because you can kind of go through them. You can obviously ask me. But the things that you can actually add that are dependent on the report. But here you have sessions, you have sessions are basically the visitors that come to you, the specific device, the browser, the type, the operating system, the actual pages that they landed, that they entered on the website. Because what you should know is most of your visitors, surprisingly or not, don't come to your homepage. If you have good SEO, you have ads, usually a majority of your visitors don't come to the homepage, right? So if I do this, for example, let me go here, landing page URL. Let me just show you this for a second. So here you can see, actually in this case, we did go to the home page first, but you can see other things right here. You can see there's this collection page, etc. But a lot of websites don't, the most popular page is not the home page. Okay, what else can you do? You can add columns for location, for example, city or country, the marketing activity. If you have marketing here, you have abandoned cart emails, you have email newsletters, you have Facebook ads, you have all these other things, you can sort by them. And the refer, how did they actually come to your website? How did they enter your website? So let's go here, for example, let's add the column for refer. Okay, and let's go right here, refer. So you can see, for example, people came from Google, people came from DuckDuckGo, people came from Facebook. So you can actually see how they entered your website. You can see how they entered, which page, etc. If you have a lot of results, you can obviously export the report and you want to actually view it in Google Sheets or Excel, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these. I'm going to organize this a little bit easier. Okay. And I'm going to click here, columns, and I'm going to remove the URL. Excuse me, clicked by mistake. Let's remove the URL. Let's clean it up because that really made the report a lot because it's very, very big. Okay. So what else can you do on the actual report? You can actually manage the filters. So this is all of my data based on the time frame, based on this type of report. I can actually filter it down and I can say, you know what? I don't want to see everything. I want to see some of the things. So I can go here, I can click here, and I can see all of my filters. Filters based on device, filters based on the page, the location, and the marketing activities and the referred, just like we had here, right? So I can say, for example, I want to filter and I want to see only, for example, and I'm going to type this in, only United States. Okay, so if you look at this right here, my total visitors are 39,000 for this month. Okay, if I add the filter, and I'm going to specify here, so country, I'm going to type it in, and United States, and I click here and I apply the filter. By the way, you can actually add more than one filter. So this and this and this. Okay, so I'm going to click on the filter, and now I can see instead of 39, it's 30,000. So obviously you can filter down. Now let's say I like the report the way it is and I want to access it later. I can go here and click on Save As. And I can actually copy it. So I can name, usually you want to name it in something better. So I'm going to call it, for example, a USA only, right? Last month, right? So I'm describing the settings, the columns, the filters, the time frame. I'm describing it. Okay, so if I save it, I can go and now I have it. So now I saved it. Now it went to that report. Okay, so if I go back to reports, I can see all of my reports. And if I scroll down to custom, I can actually re-access it very quickly right here. If I click here, I got to it. Okay, great. So let's look at the next part. Okay, so these are the reports. Now, you have a lot of different reports. So dashboard is a really quick, simple way to see your reports. You can have a quick comparison. This is just a simple recap. And the next one is reports. And I'm going to jump back and forth here, but I'll cover all of them. Okay, so reports. What do you have in reports? You have everything. Every report you have in dashboard and other, you have plus your custom reports. So here you can see the reports. These are just based on last 30 days, And the reports divide based on categories. So general sale reports with the types of sale reports, right? For example, sales by coupon is really important to know. Sales by SKU, sales by product, by variant, by location, by currency. So you have a ton of things that you want to do, and you have to look at these. And the things that I like are just for a few tips. I like to see sales based on. I like to see refunds, for example. I want to know what products are refunded. I want to see which coupon codes are being used. For example, let me click here. I want to see based on time. I want to see based on customers. So I'll show you the different categories in a second. Okay, so let's have it load. Okay, and again, I always have a date range. Okay, so here I can see my coupon codes. I can see the actual sales, the actual discounts amount, and then I can actually decide how my future promotions or my future actions happen based on these reports. Okay, let's go back to reports. So what are the categories? Sales related, sales, products, discounts, refunds, channels, etc. So these are channels, right? These are channels, for example. I can see acquisition. How do I acquire these customers? Did I run Facebook ads? Did I run, Google as my SEO good, etc. So I can see these things and see over time. Customers, okay? Customers over time, first time versus returning customers. These are really, really nice reports to see. So let's look at right here. Let's look at some of these reports. Okay, so first time versus, so you can see your bar. Again, you can always customize the columns and manage the filters, and you can see the difference. So let's go here. I want to add, let's go here. Now, another thing that you can notice here is in the video before, sorry, in the prior report that we had before, the columns are actually different. So here I have order columns because the report is based on the type of categories that we have here, right? So we have the sales, the acquisition, the profit margin, etc. All of these things. So they're all going to be different based on what type of data is provided. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go back to this. Okay, and you'll be able to see this stuff. And so every report looks the same, but every report gives different KPIs, different data, different value, right? And so you want to look at these a lot. So here you can see first time versus returning, etc. And you can start evaluating it. Okay, so let's continue. Let's go back to reports. Let's look at the other categories. Retail sales. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so right here. So we have customers, we have profit margin. So the reason I don't have data on profit margin is in order to have the profit data, you actually have to make sure that your products have the costs in them. So And when you edit a product, if you have the cost, you can have this data. Right now, we don't have anything here, and different businesses run in different ways. But if you input that, you can have very, very nice reports to help you decide how to price what's being sold, profit margins. Here, I only have one product that actually have cost in. But if you have more, you'll actually have a lot of data. This is very helpful for your business side. Okay. What other categories do we have? Let's look at it. Okay, so retail sales, obviously, if you have a physical location, you have your post system, finances, right? Sales, payments, taxes, etc. These are really important. Behavior, these are things, for example, sessions by page, store searches, if people search inside the store. This is a really good one. I like to look at this. Let me show you one good report here. So here I can see what are my customers that enter my website, what are they searching for? And based on that, I can figure out what do they actually want, right? Here's all this data. Do I carry these products? Do I have this specific SKU? Do I actually carry this brand, et cetera, et cetera? So this helps me bring a lot of data here. And another one about searches, which is really nice, let's go back, is I can see which searches customers search for in my website that brought zero results, that there are no actual, let's go here for a second, let me show you this. See, top online searches with no results. So I want to see what are people searching for that they don't find what they're looking for, and I want to figure out how I can give it to my customers. I don't want to lose those customers. Can I modify my search page? You see here, these are all things that I have no results for, okay, right here. Okay, and then basically it's the filter right here. So you could have gotten to the other report and then added a filter, but they already made it. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's look. Okay, so we have inventory. If you have inventory, you manage your inventory well. You can have inventory reports, which are really good, and your marketing efforts, right? Did I run my ads correctly? Am I selling well, etc. And lastly, my custom report. So you can, if you want to make a custom report, you can either go to a specific report, modify it, or click Save As, or you can actually create your own custom report right here. And you can use a certain template. For example, I want to do here sales over time, and I just want to call it just test, right? So you got to name it well so you can remember in the future. And then what you want to do is you actually do the same thing that we've shown before. You go, you edit the columns, you manage the filters, you change the dates, and you save it when you finish, right? You can save it or you can save it as another copy. But in this case, we just make a new one, so we want to save it here. Okay. Um, that's basically it. Okay, so that's basic reports. If you have any questions about a specific report you want to go over, let me know in the comments and I'll try to help point it out. And if it's a very detailed one, I'll try to make a video for it. Okay, next one is insights. This is a really nice thing. This is kind of like an AI or machine learning thing. This is some basic thing that you want to visit regular to understand insights. So what are some of the things that you have here? So of course you have time frame right here. Okay, so you only have 7 days or 30 days. And you have these products. They'll show you products that are shown based on high potential, right? That didn't get much traffic but sold well. One products that are actually selling better, right? Trending up, most growth in units sold. Top selling, to improve. This is a worrisome one, right? They got a lot of traffic, these products, but they sold pretty bad compared to the actual average. Frequently abandoned products, not selling. They were viewed but just weren't sold at all. And if you click on any of these, they'll have suggestions. These are really basic suggestions, but it'll basically say, hey, if you want to improve it, you can advertise, you can stock up on inventory, you can maximize, etc. So you can look at these, but in my opinion, they're not so insightful suggestions. But if you want, you can look at it, etc. The last part is the live view. So the live view, okay, so now we're on the live view page. This page will help you understand what your visitors are doing right now within the last 5 minutes. So what you can see, for example, I have 5 people on my site, 5 visitors on my site. I can actually go see where they are in the world, and I can actually see what is happening now. So active shopping carts, checking out, and purchases in the last 10 minutes. This is in the last 5 minutes, and below this is 10 and 10 minutes. And you can see the real-time page views. And you can also have a full screen. What does this help? So aside from it looking very nice and very, very cool, what you can see is sometimes when you run a specific promotion, maybe you have a very big promotion and you send out an email newsletter and you have a lot of people, you want to just make sure everything is normal and fine and people are on your site. So you can actually go here to just check that everything's fine. There's no bugs. Maybe you release some new code or maybe it's Black Friday. So you can actually go and see this information, just kind of check a quick health and kind of look around on this. So that's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the reports, the custom reports, the insights, anything, let me know and I'll be happy to answer anything in the comments. And if you have specific videos you want me to make in more detail, I'd be happy to just let me know. Thank you again for watching this video. Appreciate it.